Her gorgeous sister arrived at 11 p.m. Your wife is out with my husband right now. Are you going to join them, or would you rather go out with me? I smiled. Forget about them. Come in. She closed the door behind her. The hotel key card fell out of Jennifer's purse like a confession written on plastic. I stared at it, sitting there on our kitchen granite countertop next to her lipstick and her mints while my coffee grew cold in my hand. The Horizon Hotel, room 237, not exactly the place where my wife of 18 years should be holding her marketing meetings. My name is Brian Caldwell. I am 42 years old, and I make a living as a network engineer fixing computer systems for local businesses here in suburban Columbus, Ohio. I solve problems. I find solutions. But standing there in my own kitchen at 7 in the morning, watching my wife scramble eggs as if she had not just dropped the proof of her betrayal on the countertop, I felt like the biggest idiot in the Midwest. You are very quiet this morning, Jennifer said without turning away from the stove. Her auburn hair caught the morning light streaming through our bay window. She was still beautiful at 39. She still turned heads when we went out together, which rarely happened anymore. Just thinking about work? I lied, pocketing the key card while she was not looking. Jennifer had been coming home later and later, always with stories of client dinners and strategy sessions with her boss, Victor Harrington. Victor, who drove a BMW and wore suits that cost more than my monthly salary. Victor, who had been divorced twice and apparently had a soft spot for the married women in his marketing department. I am going to be late again tonight, Jennifer announced, sliding the eggs onto her plate. Big presentation tomorrow. Victor wants the whole team to stay and polish it. I bet he does, I thought. All right, honey. I will tell Taylor you will miss dinner again. Our 16-year-old daughter, Taylor, had stopped asking where her mother was during family dinners. Kids are smarter than we think. She knew something was wrong, even if she could not quite put her finger on it. Taylor was a junior at the local high school and had started spending more time in her room with her homework and her phone. Jennifer kissed me on the cheek before leaving. A quick kiss that felt more like an obligation than affection. I watched her BMW leave our driveway and disappear down Oak Avenue. Then I called into work sick. The Horizon Hotel was on the edge of downtown Columbus, the kind of place where businessmen take their clients and where people in troubled marriages sometimes meet. I parked my reliable Honda across the street and waited. At 11:30 in the morning, Jennifer's car pulled into the parking lot. At 11:35, Victor's silver BMW joined her. They walked into the hotel lobby together, not touching, but standing close enough that their intentions were obvious. Jennifer was wearing the red dress I bought her for our anniversary last year. The irony tasted bitter in my mouth. I sat in my car for 2 hours, watching the hotel entrance and feeling my marriage dissolve like sugar in the rain. When they finally came out, Jennifer's hair was messy and Victor had his hand on the small of her back. They said goodbye in the parking lot with a long embrace that told me everything I needed to know. That evening, Jennifer came home at 9 o'clock with her usual excuses about traffic and last-minute client calls. She took a shower immediately, then joined me on the couch where I was watching the evening news. How was your day? She asked, snuggling up against me as if nothing had happened. Eye-opening, I said. She looked at me strangely, but did not ask what I meant. We watched television in silence. Two people sharing a couch, but living in completely different worlds. When we went to bed, she turned away from me, claiming exhaustion from her long day at the office. I lay awake until 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling and planning my next move. I could confront her directly, but that would only lead to denials and more lies. I could ask for a divorce. But Jennifer would likely get half of everything and probably shared custody of Taylor. No, I needed something better. I needed leverage. The answer came to me in the form of Jennifer's sister, Nicole. Nicole Foster had always been the wild child of Jennifer's family. 2 years younger than my wife, she had inherited the same auburn hair and green eyes, but none of Jennifer's restraint. Where Jennifer was calculating and careful, Nicole was impulsive and honest. She had married Kevin Foster 5 years ago, a former college football player who now owned a chain of gyms in the Columbus area. It was almost midnight when my doorbell rang. Jennifer was supposedly at another late meeting, and Taylor was asleep upstairs. I opened the door to find Nicole standing on my porch. Mascara was running down her cheeks, and her usually perfect hair was undone. "Brian, we need to talk," she said, pushing past me into the living room. Nicole, what is wrong? It is midnight. She turned to face me, her green eyes burning with anger and pain. Your wife is involved in an inappropriate relationship with my husband. The words hit me like a physical blow, even though I suspected something like this. What are you talking about? Jennifer and Kevin, they have been seeing each other for months. I found inappropriate messages on his phone, messages about what they have been doing behind our backs. I collapsed into my recliner, feeling the world drop out from under my feet. Are you sure? Nicole pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots, Kevin's contact info at the top followed by messages that turned my stomach. Messages about hotel rooms and secret meetups. Messages saying how much they missed each other. Messages proving that my wife was betraying me not only with her boss, but also with her own sister's husband. There is more, Nicole said, sitting on the edge of my couch. I hired a private investigator last week. Jennifer and Kevin meet at the Horizon Hotel every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. They tell their spouses they are working late, but really, they are spending their time together. I thought about the key card I found that morning, about the embrace I had witnessed in the parking lot. Nicole, I have to tell you something. Jennifer is also involved with her boss, Victor Harrington. Nicole's eyes widened. Are you joking? I followed them today. They spent 2 hours at the Horizon Hotel, just like she does with Kevin. We sat in stunned silence. Two betrayed spouses, trying to process the magnitude of our partner's deception. Jennifer was not simply betraying me. She was betraying me with multiple men, including her own sister's husband. What do we do? Nicole finally asked. We make them face the consequences, I said, for both of us. Nicole smiled for the first time since she arrived. A determined smile that reminded me why I had always preferred her honesty to Jennifer's careful pretense. I was hoping you would say that. I have some ideas. We spent the next 3 hours planning our response. Nicole had access to Kevin's business accounts and knew his schedule. I had Jennifer's passwords and her complete trust. Together, we could make sure both of them were held accountable and exposed. There is one more thing, Nicole said, preparing to leave. My private investigator took pictures, a lot of pictures. Jennifer and Kevin going into hotel rooms, coming out looking messy, embracing in parking lots. We have proof. She handed me a thick manila envelope of photographs. I flipped through them, seeing my wife's betrayal documented in vivid color. Jennifer laughing as Kevin's hands were on her. Jennifer embracing Kevin with a passion she had not shown me in years. Jennifer looking happier than I had seen her in our own home. Tomorrow, we start holding them accountable, Nicole said. Are you ready for this, Brian? I looked at the photos one last time, feeling my heart harden. More than ready. After Nicole left, I stood alone in my living room, surrounded by the evidence of my wife's infidelity. The woman I had loved for almost 2 decades, the mother of my child, had been systematically breaking our family for months. She had looked me in the eyes every day and lied. She had kissed me goodbye every morning before going to meet the others. But Jennifer had made a critical mistake. She had underestimated me. She saw me as boring, predictable Brian who would never suspect his perfect wife. She was about to learn just how wrong she was. The next morning, Jennifer left for work with her usual kiss on the cheek and a promise to call if she was running late. I waited 30 minutes, then drove to Victor Harrington's downtown office building. His BMW was parked in his reserved spot, silver and gleaming in the October sun. I had spent years in information technology security learning how to find weaknesses in systems and address them. People were just another type of system, and everyone had vulnerabilities. Victor's weakness was his ego and his expensive toys. I slipped a small GPS tracker under his rear bumper, then called his office from a payphone. Mr. Harrington's office, this is Lisa. Hello, Lisa. This is Mike from Precision Auto Detailing. Mr. Harrington scheduled his BMW for an emergency service this afternoon, but I need to confirm the location. He said to meet him at the Horizon Hotel. Oh, I do not think that is right. Mr. Harrington is in meetings all afternoon. Maybe you should call his cell phone directly. Perfect, thank you. 5 minutes later, I called Victor's cell phone, disguising my voice with a slight accent. Mr. Harrington, this is Detective Rodriguez with the city police. We have received reports of suspicious activity involving your vehicle downtown. We need you to move it immediately, or it will be towed as evidence. What? What kind of suspicious activity? I cannot discuss the details over the phone, sir, but your BMW is currently parked in a location associated with an ongoing investigation. You need to move it within the hour. Victor's voice went up a pitch, panicked. Okay, I am coming right now. I watched from across the street as he rushed out of his building and drove off, probably to find a new parking spot and figure out what was going on. While he was gone, I had a clear window for the next step. Jennifer's office was on the 15th floor of the same building. I knew her schedule by heart after 18 years of marriage. On Tuesdays, she had lunch with her college friend at 12:30. That gave me exactly 45 minutes. I took the elevator to the 15th floor wearing a baseball cap and carrying a clipboard. It is amazing how invisible you become with the right accessories. Jennifer's assistant recognized me, but did not ask why I was there. Hi, Brian. Jennifer just left for lunch. Did you need something in her office? She asked me to grab some files for her presentation tonight. She is so stressed about it. Sure, go ahead. Jennifer's office was a shrine to her success. Awards on the wall, photos with clients, expensive furniture reflecting her position as senior marketing director. Her computer was password protected, but I had watched her type it for years. Taylor 2005, our daughter's name and birth year. Her email account opened up like a book of secrets. Months of correspondence with Victor about private meetings and strategy sessions. Messages to Kevin about lunches that lasted 3 hours, calendar entries for hotel reservations, and out-of-town conferences that, I realized now, were cover stories for her inappropriate relationships. But the real treasure was her sent folder. Jennifer had been careless, sending flirty messages to both men from her work email. Messages that would be devastating if they fell into the wrong hands. I forwarded the most compromising emails to my personal account, then created a new folder in her inbox titled Personal Project. I moved all the incriminating messages there, where they would be the easiest to find if someone knew where to look. My phone buzzed with a text message from Nicole. Kevin is at the gym. Ready for the next step. I replied, I am on my way. Kevin's gym, Apex Fitness, was a busy place with loud music, clanking weights, and mirrors everywhere, so the clientele could check their progress. Kevin was holding court in the main workout area, wearing a tight tank top that showed off his physique. I had never been much of a gym guy, preferring running and hiking to lifting weights. But I had done enough research to know that Kevin's business was in trouble. 3 locations, high overhead, and declining membership for 2 years. He was mortgaging everything to keep the doors open, including his marriage to Nicole, whose family money had funded his expansion. Brian, Kevin yelled when he spotted me, his voice echoing across the room. What brings you here, buddy? Finally ready to get in shape. Several of his trainers and regular clients turned to look at us. Kevin loved having an audience, especially when he could play the role of the successful businessman and fitness expert. Actually, Kevin, I wanted to talk to you about a business opportunity, something you might be interested in. His eyes lit up. Kevin was always looking for new revenue streams, new ways to turn his fitness empire into bigger profits. Yeah, let's talk in my office, he said, guiding me toward the back of the gym. Kevin's office was as much about image as everything else in his life. An expensive desk, leather chairs, walls covered with photos of him with local figures, a shrine to his own importance. So, what is this opportunity? He asked, settling behind his desk. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder of photos Nicole had given me. It is about Jennifer. Kevin's face went pale when I showed him the first photo, him and my wife embracing in the hotel parking lot. Brian, I can explain. Can you explain this one too? I swiped to the next photo, showing them going into the hotel together. Look, it is not what you think. Or this one. The third photo showed them leaving the hotel 2 hours later, Jennifer's hair messy and Kevin's shirt untucked. Kevin stood up abruptly, his chair rolling back against the wall. Where did you get these? It does not matter. What matters is what I do with them now. What do you want? I smiled, savoring the fear in his eyes. I want you to understand something, Kevin. You have been involved with my wife, but you are also creating serious problems for yourself. Because I know about your financial troubles. I know about the loans you cannot pay back and the memberships you are losing. And I know that Nicole's family money is the only thing keeping you afloat. Kevin collapsed into his chair, losing all the fight in him. Here is what is going to happen, I continued. You are going to end things with Jennifer immediately. You are going to tell her it was a mistake, and that you cannot see her anymore. And if you do not, these photos will find their way to Nicole, to your business partners, and to every member of this gym who thinks you are some kind of role model. You cannot do that. I can and I will. You have 24 hours to end it with Jennifer. After that, all bets are off. I left Kevin sitting in his office, staring at his phone like it was going to explode. The first part of the plan was complete, but the real consequences were just beginning. That evening, Jennifer came home earlier than usual, around 7 o'clock. Her face was flushed and she seemed agitated, pacing the kitchen while I made dinner for Taylor and myself. "Is everything okay?" I asked, keeping my voice neutral. "Kevin Foster called me today. He said we could not work together on the fitness center marketing project anymore." Just like that, out of the blue, he canceled everything. I stirred the pasta sauce, hiding my smile. "That is strange," I said. "Why?" "Something about budget constraints and needing to focus on internal operations." "It makes no sense, Brian. We were making real progress on their rebranding campaign." Taylor looked up from her homework at the kitchen table. "Mom, you are working on a lot of different projects lately. Maybe it is good to have fewer clients so you can focus." Jennifer's face tightened. "I do not need career management advice, Taylor. I was just saying." "Well, do not say anything." I watched this exchange with interest. Jennifer was usually patient with Taylor, even when she was stressed from work. The fact that she lashed out at our daughter suggested that Kevin's rejection had hit her harder than a simple professional setback would warrant. My phone buzzed with a text message from Nicole. "Kevin came home early and wants to talk about our marriage. First step successful." After dinner, Jennifer disappeared into her home office to make calls. I could hear her voice through the door, frustrated and pleading. She was calling Kevin, trying to figure out why he had suddenly cut contact. Around 9 o'clock, she came out of the office looking defeated. "I am going to bed early," she announced. "It has been a long day." "And your presentation tomorrow? I thought you were working late with Victor's team." Jennifer stopped at the bottom of the stairs, her hand on the railing. "We postponed it. Victor thought we needed more time to prepare." Another lie. I had called Victor's office that afternoon and learned from his assistant that he had left early for a golf weekend with clients. There was no presentation, no team meeting, no reason for Jennifer to work late, except to meet the others. With Kevin out of the picture, her carefully constructed schedule of deceit was falling apart. The next morning brought the next phase of the plan. While Jennifer was in the shower, I used her laptop to send an email from her account to the entire marketing department. The subject line read, "Personal apology from Jennifer Caldwell." The message was simple. "I want to apologize to everyone for my unprofessional behavior over the past few months. My personal relationships have interfered with my professional responsibilities, and I promise to do better. I especially want to apologize to Victor for putting him in an uncomfortable position." I scheduled the email to send at 9:30, minutes after Jennifer would arrive at the office. Then I deleted it from her sent and draft folders to make it look like the email had been sent accidentally or erased. At 9:15, my phone rang. Jennifer's name popped up on the screen. "Brian, something terrible happened. Someone hacked my email account and sent a message to my whole department. It implies I am having an inappropriate relationship with Victor, and it is awful." "Honey, what did the message say exactly?" Jennifer read me the email, her voice shaking with panic. "Everyone is going to think I am involved with my boss. My career is ruined. I am sure people will understand. It was a hack. These things happen all the time. You do not understand. Victor is furious. He thinks I sent it on purpose, like I am trying to expose our working relationship or force him to leave his wife. He will not even talk to me." "What relationship?" I asked innocently. Jennifer was silent for a long time. "I mean our working relationship. He thinks I am trying to sabotage him somehow. Maybe you should come home and we can figure this out together. I cannot leave right now. I have to do damage control." But the damage control was just beginning. At 10 o'clock, Nicole called to report that Kevin had confessed everything to her, begging for her forgiveness and promising to end all contact with Jennifer. At 11 o'clock, my friend Marcus sent me pictures from the gym where Kevin was telling anyone who would listen that Jennifer Caldwell was a difficult client who had been pursuing him for months. By noon, Jennifer's professional reputation was in shreds. Her colleagues were whispering about the mysterious email and her rumored involvement with their boss. Victor was avoiding her, probably planning how to minimize his own exposure. and Kevin was actively spreading rumors to protect himself, depicting Jennifer as an unstable woman who had chased him despite his rejection. Jennifer came home that evening looking like she had aged 5 years in one day. Her perfect makeup was smudged, her designer clothes wrinkled, her confident attitude completely shattered. "Brian, I need to tell you something," she said, sitting next to me on the couch. This was the moment of truth I had been waiting for. "I am having an affair." I turned to her, putting an expression of shock and pain on my face. "What?" "With Victor Harrington. It started 6 months ago, just emotional at first, but then it became physical." "I am so sorry, Brian. I never meant for this to happen. How could you do this to Taylor and me?" Jennifer started crying, tears streaming down her face as she reached for my hand. "It was a mistake, a terrible mistake. I felt ignored and unappreciated. And Victor made me feel special again. But I realize now that I was just selfish and foolish." "And is it over?" "Yes, completely over. Victor will not even speak to me anymore. He is terrified his wife will find out and take everything in a divorce." I pulled my hand away from hers. "I need time to think about this, Jennifer. I cannot just forgive and forget." "I understand. I will do whatever it takes to fix this. Marriage counseling, therapy, whatever you want. I want you to sleep in the guest room tonight. I cannot share a bed with you right now." Jennifer nodded miserably and went upstairs to pack a bag. Listening to her move around in our room, I felt for a moment something that could have been guilt. She seemed genuinely remorseful, truly sorry for what she had done. But then I remembered the photos of her with Kevin, the months of lies and deceit, the way she had embraced her other partner with more passion than she had shown me in years. Jennifer was only sorry she got caught. She was only confessing to the involvement with Victor because her relationship with Kevin was still a secret, still her fallback if she needed it. She had no idea I knew about Kevin. No idea her sister was now my ally. No idea her carefully constructed double life was about to collapse around her. The real reckoning was just beginning. 3 days later, Nicole called with the news I had been waiting for. "Kevin is desperate," she said. "He knows I am going to divorce him and take everything. He is calling Jennifer, begging her to run away with him. He thinks if they disappear together, they can start over somewhere else." "Is Jennifer on board?" "She is considering it. I am monitoring his phone calls. She is scared of what is happening at work, scared of losing you and Taylor. Kevin is offering her an escape from all the consequences. Tomorrow night. Kevin is closing the gym early, and they plan to meet at the Horizon Hotel one last time before going to the airport. He has tickets to Las Vegas under fake names. It is perfect." Jennifer thought she was running away from her problems, but she was actually running straight into the accountability I had been setting for weeks. "Are you ready for the final step?" I asked Nicole. "More than ready. It is time to end this." The next evening, Jennifer came home with a suitcase and a story about a last-minute business trip to Chicago. She would be gone for 3 days, she said, to help salvage a client relationship that had gone wrong. "I know the timing is terrible," she said, avoiding my gaze. "With everything that has happened between us, the last thing you want is for me to travel. But this could save my job, Brian. I have to go." "I understand," I said. "Do what you have to do." Jennifer kissed Taylor goodbye and hugged me by the front door. For a moment, she clung to me like she did when we were young and still in love. "I am going to fix this," she whispered in my ear. "I am going to fix everything." Then she left, driving into the night toward what she thought was freedom, but what was actually the most devastating confrontation of her life. I waited 30 minutes, then had Taylor get in my car. "Where are we going, Dad?" "To see your Aunt Nicole. She is having some trouble with Uncle Kevin, and we are going to help her." The parking lot of the Horizon Hotel was mostly empty at 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. Jennifer's BMW was parked near the back, next to Kevin's pickup truck. They thought they were being discreet, but they had chosen the exact same spot where I had photographed them months earlier. Nicole was waiting in the hotel lobby wearing a black cocktail dress that made her look like she was attending a funeral. In a way, she was. "Room 237, she said, handing me a key card. "The same room they have been using from the start." I convinced the front desk clerk that I was Kevin's wife and that I was going to surprise him. "Are you sure you want Taylor to see this?" Nicole looked at my daughter sitting in the lobby chairs, looking confused and worried. "Taylor deserves to know the truth about her mother. She is old enough to understand that actions have consequences." We took the elevator up to the second floor in silence. The hallway was empty, decorated with generic hotel art and smelling of industrial carpet cleaner. Room 237 was at the end of the hall, and we could hear voices through the door. Jennifer's laugh, high and carefree in a way I had not heard in years. Kevin's voice, deep and confident. Tomorrow night, we will be in Las Vegas. New names, new lives, brand new. And Brian and Taylor? Jennifer asked. What about them? You said yourself that Brian is boring and predictable. He will be better off without you. And Taylor is almost 18. She can take care of herself. I felt Taylor shrink beside me. Her own mother talking about abandoning her as if she were an inconvenience to be thrown away. Nicole swiped the key card in the lock and pushed the door open. Jennifer and Kevin were in the room together, looking shocked and clearly involved in something they should not have been. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Jennifer scrambled to compose herself while Kevin reached for his jacket. Hello, sister, Nicole said calmly. Hello, husband. Nicole, it is not what you think, Kevin stammered. It looks like you are about to run off to Las Vegas with my sister-in-law while abandoning your wife and daughter. That is not what is happening. Jennifer found her voice. Brian, how did you Taylor? You should not be here. And why not? Taylor asked, her voice cold and mature beyond her 16 years. Should I not see what my mother really thinks of me? That I can take care of myself while she runs away with Uncle Kevin? Taylor, baby, you do not understand. I understand perfectly. You have been lying to Dad and me for months. You have been involved with Uncle Kevin and probably other men too. And now you were going to disappear without even saying goodbye. Jennifer started crying, but this time there was no sympathy in the room. She had exhausted everyone's patience and forgiveness. Get dressed, I said quietly to both of them. Brian, let me explain. There is nothing to explain, Jennifer. I have known about your inappropriate relationships for weeks. I saw the photos, read the messages. I watched you lie to my face every day. The only thing I want to hear from you now is goodbye. Kevin was putting on his jacket, looking around the room as if planning to leave quickly. Look, Brian, this whole thing got out of hand. Jennifer and I never meant to hurt anybody. You just never intended to get caught, Nicole corrected. There is a difference. What happens now? Jennifer asked, clutching at the situation. I took out my phone and showed her the screen. A video call was active, showing the faces of her parents, Victor's wife, Kevin's business partners, and several of her colleagues. Now, everybody knows the truth, I said. About the affairs, the lies, your plan to run away and abandon your family. Everything has been visible on this call for the last 5 minutes. Jennifer's face went completely white. Your parents know their daughter broke her marriage vows and lied. Victor's wife knows about your involvement with her husband. Kevin's partners know he was planning to take money from the gym accounts to fund your escape. Your colleagues know you were involved with your boss and your brother-in-law. Kevin moved toward me, but Nicole stepped in between us. Touch him, and I will have you arrested, she said calmly. You are already going to lose everything. Do not make it worse. This is insane, Jennifer said. Brian, you cannot destroy my whole life over a mistake. A mistake, Taylor spoke up, her voice trembling with anger. Mom, you were going to abandon me. You were going to disappear and leave me wondering for the rest of my life if I had done something wrong. That is not a mistake. That is a choice. Jennifer reached out to her daughter, but Taylor stepped back. Do not touch me. I want nothing to do with you. Taylor, please. No. Dad and Aunt Nicole are my family now. You are just someone who used to live in our house. I ended the video call and put my phone away. Jennifer, you have 2 choices. You can come home, pack your bags, and move out quietly. We will file for divorce. You will get whatever the court decides you deserve after they review the evidence and consider Taylor's wishes, and you can try to rebuild your life somewhere else. Or you can make things difficult. And I will make sure every single person in this town knows exactly what kind of person you are. And Kevin, she asked. Kevin is no longer your concern. Nicole is handling him. Nicole smiled coldly at her husband. The gyms are facing foreclosure on Monday. The house is being sold to pay back the money you took from my family, and you are going to be living in a studio apartment in a rough part of town, assuming you can find a job after I am done telling everyone what you did. You cannot do this to me, Kevin said desperately. I am your husband. You were my husband. Now you are just someone who broke our vows and is about to lose everything. Jennifer and Kevin looked at each other across the hotel room. Two people who had thought they were so smart, so careful, so entitled to take whatever they wanted without consequences. Now, they were facing the complete destruction of their lives, visible to everyone who mattered to them. Get dressed and get out, I told them both. And Jennifer, I want you out of my house by tomorrow night. As we walked through the hotel lobby, Taylor took my hand. Dad, are you okay? I looked down at my daughter, this strong, intelligent young woman who had just seen her mother's true nature and had chosen to stand by my side. I am better than okay, sweetheart. I am free. Outside in the parking lot, Nicole pulled us both into a hug. Thank you, she said, for helping me see who Kevin really was and for giving me the courage to fight back. Thank you for being brave enough to tell me the truth about Jennifer. We watched Jennifer and Kevin drive away in separate cars, heading toward their respective disasters. Jennifer would face divorce proceedings, professional ruin, and the loss of her daughter's respect. Kevin would face bankruptcy, social humiliation, and the complete destruction of everything he had built. They had chosen to betray the people who loved them most. Now, they would live with the consequences of their choices. Taylor squeezed my hand as we got into our car. Dad, what happens now? Now, we go home and start building a better life, just the two of us. And Aunt Nicole, whenever she is ready. Will you miss Mom? I thought about that question as we drove through the quiet streets toward home. Would I miss the woman who had lied to me for months, who had broken our marriage vows with multiple men, who had planned to abandon our daughter without a second thought? I will miss the woman I thought she was, I finally said. But that woman never really existed. Pulling into our driveway, I felt something I had not felt in months. Peace. The difficult chapter was over. Accountability had been served, and tomorrow, Taylor and I would start the rest of our lives. Free from the lies, the betrayal, and the false promises. Jennifer had taught me that some people will take everything you give them and still want more. But she had also taught me that I was stronger than I knew, smarter than she believed, and capable of standing up when it mattered most. The porch light was on, welcoming us back to a house that would finally be honest. Comment. I wanted to share this because it really made me think about how much self-respect shapes the way we move through life. Setting clear boundaries has always been one of the most important ways I protect my own peace and the peace of those I care about. It's easy to keep giving chances, hoping things will improve, but true kindness includes being honest with ourselves first. Facing difficult truths, even when they hurt, is the beginning of real healing, and I have seen it change lives, including my own. Taking responsibility for our happiness is something each of us can choose every single day. You might be carrying something heavy right now, and I want you to know you have the strength to choose better. Learning to walk toward calm instead of staying in chaos has brought more clarity into my life than I ever expected. I encourage you to pause today and reflect on where you can draw those lines with love and courage. Thank you for watching and for being part of this space where we grow together through stories like these. Let's keep supporting one another as we build lives rooted in respect and genuine connection. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.